Man, Wemby shows a little Jekyll and Hyde in Summer League. The mid-season tourney looks to add some spice to the upcoming season, and James Harden and Zion Williamson have something in common.
What's your name, fool?
I'm Rosa Panta. This is the Clinic All NBA podcast. I have the three hooligans.
Whoa, we're not going live, right? We're not doing live.
This is rusty. This is.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We should probably cut that then.
That's hella funny. No. We can just start it again. I like it. We'll just keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Hey, we've gone for 3 weeks. Sounds like it's been good. We've been gone for 3 years.
This is our summer league lineup right now. This is summer league. All right. You want to count us down again, RJ?
Try this again.
Man, Wemby shows a little Jekyll and Hyde in Summer League. The mid-season tourney looks to add some spice to the upcoming season, and James Harden and Zion Williamson have something in common.
What's your name, fool?
I'm Rosa Panta. This is the Clinic All NBA podcast. I have the three hooligans with me. JJ, how you living, my friend?
Woo! Feeling good, feeling great. It's summer. What up, fellas?
Yeah. John, how you living, my friend?
Oh man, it's summer. It's hot as hell. I moved, and I haven't seen my fellas in a long time. It's good to be here. Let's go.
Congrats.
Man, I am burning up in here in Sacramento. Sammy, how you living, my friend?
I'm good, man. Just trying to keep from burning to a crisp myself, but can't complain.
Boys, we gotta talk about Summer League here, specifically Victor Wembanyama. We gotta talk about games 1 and 2. So, in game 1, he scored just 9 points. He was 2 of 13 of shooting with 8 rebounds. The Spurs ended up winning that game against the Charlotte Hornets. But a lot was said about just his poor shooting performance because everyone was looking for him to just kind of dominate the game, especially since, he's a 7-5 first overall pick. But he has a bounce back game in game 2 where he ended up finishing with 27 points, 12 rebounds. It ended up in a loss against the Portland Trail Blazers. I want to ask you guys, after seeing sort of this kind of up and down summer league for Wemby, do you guys have any concerns?
No, not at all. I mean, he hadn't really been playing in a bit just because of all the stuff going on with flying back and forth, getting ready for the draft, all that kind of thing. This was his first experience. You knew he was probably going to be a bit nervous. So people coming out after this one game and calling him out, I thought was completely ridiculous. And in the middle of that, he still managed to block 5 shots. I mean, I think he's going to be better on the defensive end this year anyway. So I think he's gonna, because of the age we're in where people react so quickly, this is gonna be how this whole season goes for him. He has a bad game, people are gonna tear him down, but
Right.
he's gonna be elite, but this is gonna take time. I mean, you guys tell me, am I overlooking this too much?
No, I'm just glad nobody overreacted to a summer league game. It's good to see. Well, a few things. One, it's summer league, and man, it's slow. The NBA season is really, really slow. I think it's just clear, like Sammy said, that he's going to be the most polarizing player that we've seen since probably LeBron James. That he's going to be criticized up and down ad nauseum for the foreseeable future. And man, if LeBron retires, Skip Bayless probably has a new target. Victor. This is going to be his new guy that he's going to be talking about every single day. But again, not much to say about it. I mean, it's good to see that he had a great game. You shouldn't overreact to it. He had a terrible game, first game. You shouldn't overreact to that either. We'll see how he progresses, but he's super young. He obviously is very thin. My concern about Wemby, and it's always going to be the same, whether he has a terrible summer league, up and down regular season in his rookie year, it's his frame, it's his size, he's being that tall. I've said it from the beginning. I don't know if that's sustainable. That's not a normal, healthy like how many guys in the league in the past in history that big have lasted long? Yao Ming is probably the only guy, and he actually didn't even play that long, considering all things. So that to me is my biggest concern. But these two games, it's like, come on, guys, let's and girls, let's chill out.
I think I'm gonna go on the other side of this just for controversy. I think it's not a big deal, but it does raise some concern because if I told you guys, hey, we're gonna play a pickup game against third graders and we win, we're not gonna pat ourselves on the back because we're supposed to win, correct?
Sammy would.
I would.
Maybe Sammy, but we wouldn't.
I've seen the participation trophies. I'm kidding.
Thank
I have
you,
those
John.
too. I got those too.
Okay. We're not gonna go into today's generation and clown on them, so I'll save my insults for them later. But my point is, Wemby finishing with only 9 points as the first pick in this draft, and you're being this once-in-a-lifetime generational player, the second coming of LeBron James, and you come out like that, 2 for 13. I'm not saying that, whoa, pump the brakes, this is a bust, but isn't he supposed to dominate? Wasn't a few years ago Anthony Morrow scored 45 as the Warriors pick and he never amounted to anything? You could say the same thing with John, your boy Kuzma. I'm just saying that in Summer League, you have these up-and-comer G Leaguers. You're the first pick. You can't go 2 for 13. But hey, that's just me. When you do good, you're supposed to do good. When you do bad, that should raise some concern. What do you think about that, Jun?
Well,
June,
JJ,
yeah, we want to hear from you because you are his number one fan. We remember what you said, that he is a bigger prospect than LeBron James. I just want to call that out. I'm taking receipts out here. Sorry.
Dude, you could definitely call me out on that one. I will say that I'm concerned a little bit about Wemby just because I don't know if you guys saw like the highlights or even the lowlights or even watched the entire game, but in that first game, it's almost like he wanted to play away from the basket.
Yes.
Kind of dribble a lot more. And like, bro, you're 7'5". You're 7'5" in a summer league game. Why aren't you underneath the basket? Like that showed to me that like maybe his basketball IQ or the way that the summer league coaches were coaching him to like play, it didn't like really reflect to his strengths, which is concerning to me because if I'm Wembanyama and if I look onto the court and the next tallest person is like 6'10", 6'11", like it's almost a done deal that I'm gonna be in the block and I'm gonna be torturing people. But I don't know if it's because of, like you said, John, that Wemby looks kind of light for his size. And his legs look like a little fragile, so I don't know if they're trying to protect him. Am I overreacting with this take here, or what do you guys think?
I get what you're saying with that, but I also just think that Pop will have him where he needs to be when the games actually count.
That's a great point.
I do agree that he's gonna need to obviously put on some weight because of what John mentioned, and it felt like in that game he went down a lot, and I think he'll learn to protect himself as best he can. But when you're 7'5", that's just gonna be hard to do, especially with your legs. So if I have any concerns with him, it's gonna be injuries, and I sincerely hope that he avoids them. But it's gonna be hard at that size. Just like John said, he's right. Track record is not great on bigs in NBA history. Especially
It's not just
size.
it's not just bigs. It's bigs that are abnormally big like this, right? This is atypical for
Right, like over 7'3", maybe over 7'2",
Right.
7'3", that range.
Right. But I will say, I think, bro, your bigger gripe here is that he played terribly against the Charlotte Hornets and then he dominated against your Portland Trailblazers. That's like in reality, right? That's exactly why you're very upset.
Man, the Blazers didn't even get him as that pick. I really thought they're going to get him too, and then he just crushes them in the summer league. So we have a list here of 5 players who did really well during the summer league games. And our list goes like this: Jabari Smith Jr. from the Houston Rockets, Max Christie from the Lakers, Scoot Henderson from the Blazers, Victor Wembanyama, of course, from the Spurs, and Chet Holmgren from the OKC Thunder. Out of those 5 players, which of those players do you think are going to have the most impact in the upcoming season?
I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna say Scoot Henderson. Just because if Dame gets traded, he's going to have all of the freedom in the world, all of the shots, the ball in his hand, and that's the recipe for winning Rookie of the Year. So my vote is Scoot Henderson.
And just to be clear, we're talking about individual performance, right? Not really reflecting the team's performance, because I think that's good. That's
Yes.
distinguish there is important. Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to.
Say it.
I'm gonna have to. No.
Max Christie.
Max
Okay.
Christie.
Everybody just relax, man. You guys are out of pocket here. Out of pocket. Like,
It's Max.
I'm a homer, but I'm not that much of a homer. Like,
Okay, Sammy, what do you think?
I do like Max Christie, though. I will say this. I do like Max Christie. Okay. And maybe that is me putting back my purple and gold homer glasses, but I do like what I see from him. I think he has the assets and the tools, and the way that he improved his jump shot considerably, even though he didn't play much last year. But I did keep track of him, and I know I think he was in the second round. I think he was a second round pick. But from this list, I'm just going to quickly say, I'm going to go with Victor Wembanyama. And I know this really hurts Ro for me to say this, but I still think that he's going to come into his own and have a really strong rookie year.
I think this is a great list overall. Part of me would initially have thought Scoot also. I think I agree that Wembanyama is going to have a year. I do think San Antonio is going to bring him along kind of slowly. I think Chet's going to have the same thing in OKC, and especially he's not going to be as ball dominant. So based on what I saw in Summer League and the changes going on there, I'm actually going to go with Jabari Smith on this. The first day he was there, he was interviewed and asked if he felt like he needed to be there, and his exact words were along the lines of, our team did not play well last year, I needed more time, I'm 20 years old, why wouldn't I play? I really appreciated that response, because there's a little bit of entitlement sometimes with some of the younger guys that come in the league. This didn't go that way. He absolutely dominated the games he played. I think the last game he played, he put up 36. And between Van Fleet being there and Ime Udoka being there, I think it's going to be a much better environment for him to actually have a good year. So I think he's going to come out and look a lot better this year, now that team is just a little more organized, and clearly he's approaching it with the right attitude.
Sammy, can I vehemently disagree with you?
Please.
And the reason why I disagree with you is because Dylan Brooks is going to take 25 shots a game, taking away from Jabari Smith to ever do anything worthwhile this upcoming season.
Trust in Ime. Trust in Ime.
Man, I think we're all split here, because I'm gonna go with Chet Holmgren, and the reason being is because I think he has the tools to become a legit #1 star of OKC, and his contender, his running mate, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, had a great year last year. He also has a great supporting cast that I feel like is going to highlight what Chet Holmgren could really do on both offense and defense. So I feel like Chet, to me, has the best chance to shine. I guess we'll have to keep receipts here, like John said, and see what happens for the upcoming season. We want to talk about now the mid-season tournament that the NBA is now implementing for the upcoming season, just to add a little spice to its winter schedule. And in November and December, this is when the games are going to happen, where teams have a chance to gain an extra banner and a little something more to play for, which is the NBA Cup. And it looks like it's going to tip off on Friday, November 3rd, and the NBA team markets, and so far, they're going to play the semifinals in December, and then the championship is going to be on December 9th in Las Vegas. There's a lot of details to this tournament, like how the teams are being set up into group play, how the later part of the tournament is going to be a single elimination game. It's hard to get a good grasp on actually what's happening for the tournament. I guess we'll have to see it live, but from what we know, do you guys like the in-season tournament?
I think I'm open to it. I'm willing to see how it works out. I think when the play-in was first proposed, a lot of the hardcore fans didn't like the idea of it just because it opened up too many teams to participate. But look what happened. We had a play-in team like the Miami Heat make it to the finals, which proves all you need is a ticket to the dance. Now, the thing with the mid-season tourney is that the incentives don't really make it interesting for me. And I foresee our teams, the Clippers, Lakers, and Warriors, essentially sitting out their players. Like, why try that much harder for these games that only count for your record when December, November, January, this is the time frame where coaches like to sit out their players. Well, what I've liked to see, and I don't know if this is too crazy or not, fellas, is the winner of the mid-season tourney gets a guaranteed draft pick. Like
It's
10.
actually exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, like 10. And
I love that.
yeah, that would be amazing. That'd make the lottery that much more interesting. And I just had another idea, which I don't think would happen, but what if the winner, the team, gets an increase of cap space that doesn't go against the luxury tax?
I love that too.
Like 2 million.
I love all of those ideas, JJ, and take that in stride because I'm probably never going to compliment you ever again moving forward. But I will say I do know I love those ideas, and I think personally I don't think the incentives as it currently stands are enough. And I know that the records here, they count towards the regular season record, right? The wins and losses from the tournament. But that's really dependent on whether or not the records at the time for the teams are relatively close, right? Let's say a team is far and away has a lead from a record standpoint. Is there really an incentive for that team to try as hard as the other teams? Probably not. So I think a lot of it is situational, right? And so for me, I don't like that because you have to rely on the records to be competitive, at least in my perspective, for people to actually come into it 100%. That's my take on it. So I do love JJ's ideas. I wanted to get the other guys' thoughts on it though.
I think overall, a lot of these teams are just gonna play their rotations as normal, and if they were gonna sit players out, they probably will, like they normally would. I don't think it's gonna divert them too much outside of maybe they'll have a little more motivation if they're already close to making that title game or the semis. Maybe they would change the schedule a little bit to give a player rest like after that game. I don't know if it would matter that much. I hope so, but I'm in the same boat in terms of I'm open to it. I want to see what this looks like when it's done. I love that it does give everyone an excuse to go to Vegas for a few days for the semis and the finals. That's never a bad decision. And then, as a Clipper fan, Ro mentioned hanging extra banners and all we have is players' faces. So, let's go for an extra banner. Let's win that midseason title, hang that one up and into it. So let's do it. Let's make it happen.
The reason why I like it is because, like these cash prizes, whether it be like 50K, 100K, 200K, or 500K, doesn't matter a whole lot to superstars because they're making a ridiculous amount of money. But when you get deeper into the bench, or even like maybe the fifth guy in the starting lineup, like that money matters. And they're going to play hard. And the one thing that you don't want if you're a superstar is someone making like 500 million to your 200 million and kicking your butt in a tournament. So I feel like it's going to add like some spice, like what I said in the intro. to the middle of the season, because we've been there, man, during these pods too, where like it's the middle of the season, where like there's not a whole lot going on here. But I feel like this tournament is just going to provide a lot more content and a lot more excitement to the season. And we have the NBA like odds or in-season odds for the tournament. And we have Boston leading the way at plus 700, the Nuggets at plus 950, Bucks at 1,000, Suns at 1,100, Warriors, then Cavs, then Lakers, sitting at 7th for the odds. Any surprises here that you guys could see?
I have thoughts on why the Lakers are so low. Right.
Okay.
Let's say it.
Okay.
Well, no, I just think that and people think that LeBron James is just not gonna. He's like does not give a flying F about it, and he's gonna not try, and maybe I don't know. I mean, that to me that's what else? What other reasons could there why the Lakers odds are so low to win the tournament? Right? They should have a really good team this upcoming year.
Street clothes.
That is true. That's roughly the time of Anthony Davis's annual 2 weeks off
Hey,
for the holidays.
Yeah, his
You know?
PTO, dude. He's got his PTOs around that time.
Cue the
That's why his
Kawhi
vacation bank
soundbite.
replenishes every year.
Where's the Kawhi soundbite? No, the other one. You have the hey. Okay, well, there you go. That's the one I was looking for.
That's why the Clippers aren't anywhere here. They already know Kawhi's going to be home for the holidays. He'll be down here in San Diego with me.
I have a question for you, Sammy. If the Clippers do land Harden, and it's Harden, PG, and Kawhi on the roster, do you think that there would be heavy favorites for the in-season tournament?
Harden in Vegas?
Harden
In Vegas for a tournament? I don't think he's going to remember to get up in time for the game.
Sounds like a match made in heaven.
You remember that scene
It'll be like
in Varsity
Dennis Rodman.
Blues where you remember the scene in Varsity
The Last
Blues where they
Dance.
all come out of the club and it's like 7 in the morning and they have to play that night?
Yes.
That's James Harden during this tournament.
What do you guys think about these odds? Anything that sticks out?
I like Cleveland. I'll say that. They're
Yeah,
the
me too.
team based on what you're all saying that is the least likely to be resting anybody. So
Yeah.
for that reason, I feel like they would be motivated to play a little more. And at that number, I actually think that they would be a good bet to
You
actually
betting
win
the
it.
farm, Sammy? You gonna bet the farm?
No, just the barn.
I feel
Bro.
like the Cavs too, because on this list here of favorites, I want to say they probably have the youngest overall team, and I feel like for the in-season tournament, that's like what you want. You know, this is like great practice for them too for the playoffs whenever the playoffs do come. But anyway,
Yeah.
go
I
ahead.
just think
John.
I was gonna say real quick. I think the old heads are like you said, are not gonna be as motivated. Just being jaded and playing for this game for so long. I did have one quick thought before we move forward, if that's okay. I was just thinking, like, picture fantasy football where the last place gets punishment. I was wondering. I know this is probably far fetched, but that would be interesting to me to encourage competition. Is to maybe have them have a punishment for the last place or somebody if you finish bottom 3. I know that's far fetched, but I would love to see something.
No,
like that.
that's actually a good idea. What if you lose a spot in your draft? You go one pick lower if you're bottom 3.
I think John was trying to imagine the whole Orlando Magic team like recording a TikTok together as punishment.
yeah. Not as drastic as JJ, but sure, that works too. Anyway, I digress.
So for our next topic here, we're gonna talk about something we all love. We all play video games, and NBA 2K came out with their rating. And Jamal Murray is not happy with his 84 overall rating that NBA 2K gave him. He said, "Ain't no way my rating that low. How is that possible?" When Jamal Murray averaged 26.1 points per game, 7.1 assists per game, and he was a significant part of those 2023 NBA Finals that we just saw when Denver won the championship. And just as further information here, people who are ahead of him, let's say like Julius Randle, is that an 87? Jalen Brunson, who's another point guard on the New York Knicks, is an 87. LaMelo Ball is an 86. Anthony Edwards is an 86. Klay Thompson, 86. And then people like sort of around his range, like in 84 along with him, CJ McCollum, Tyrese Maxey, Tyler Hero. Do you think NBA 2K got this right, or does Jamal Murray kind of have a point here?
I like turtle.
Jamal Murray should be lower. I'm just playing. I'm just messing. This list is actually pretty egregious. I'm just gonna flat out say it. I mean, like Tyler Hero, no. Guys like, man, Jalen Green, the same score as NBA champion Jamal Murray, who was instrumental in winning. Like without Jamal Murray, Denver doesn't win the championship, right? They probably don't even get to the finals. And like, come on, man. And like Julius Randle should not be higher than Jamal Murray. I'm sorry. Kristaps Porzingis should not be higher than Jamal Murray. I'm not sorry about that. Like, no, this
Zach
list
LaVine shouldn't either. Sorry, just
look.
throw that
No,
out there.
I agree with that too. And look, Ro and JJ, I love Klay Thompson, legendary. But if we're basing it, if this is based off the season, the previous season, Klay Thompson should not be above Jamal Murray.
I'm not gonna hate on that. What do you guys think?
He should be top 30 at minimum, and just this list it's a mess. It's just
ass. Just say it. It's ass.
Couldn't have said it better, but yeah, Brooke Lopez, Miles Turner, Jalen Green, Rudy Gobert, Tyler Hero, Rudy Gobert, CJ McCollum, Rudy Gobert, all of them. Like it's out of control.
I didn't even mention Rudy Gobert because I would just I like the anger is seething through me that I can't even say his name.
I'm also gonna throw out there exactly what John said. Based on the past season, Chris Paul is above or on point with Garland.
Wow.
Brunson, and wow is right. I will leave it at that and respectfully defer to you, fine gentlemen.
Well, what I'll say is when these players complain about their 2K rating, sometimes I'm like, come on, man, it's not a big deal. But when you think about how many people play 2K, this has a reach, especially for a young audience that are quote unquote hardcore NBA fans. And for a player to say like, I deserve to be a 99, I don't believe that in 2K or even Madden, because when you think about it, when they make the game, a 99 is across all generations because you could play across all generations, right? So like, for example, when I bought 2K, June even told me, hey, like check out the 96 Bulls, for example, right? So what I'll say is the 84 might be accurate, cross-generational with all NBA players in 2K. What I disagree with, and what I agree with our guys here, is that you can't have Jamal Murray below CJ McCollum, Tyler Hero, like Jalen Green, like the list goes on. Like Julius Randle's at an 87. Like, please help me understand. This is so crazy. I don't know how they get these ratings, but shed light on me. And shout out to our video producer, June. Our boy Jordan Poole has the same rating as Jamal Murray. Maybe the Warriors could have done a straight up trade with him.
I wanted to ask you about that. Is that a big win for Jordan Poole or a bigger loss for Jamal Murray, JJ?
That's a huge win for Jordan Poole.
That's a big loss for NBA 2K. That's who it's a big loss for.
Wow.
Jamal Murray, I'm upset for you. Go ahead, John. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna. Who do you guys think is like coming up with these ratings? Do you think they've watched 1 minute of actual NBA basketball?
It seems like it.
They have to, right? They like do these updates on a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly basis, and they study the game. They know how many people play this game, right? And this is so crazy that these are the results, John. I don't know, man.
Yeah, this is crazy. Jamal Murray, I'm upset for you, but to give you some hope, we all know in NBA 2K, it's not about your overall stats or your overall rating. It's about the badges. So I'm sure you've got plenty of shooting badges. You've got probably the clutch badge, the corner specialist badge, slippery, all that good stuff. Hopefully in at least gold. But we're going to take a short little break with a word from our sponsor.
Are you tired of constantly losing your bets on unfair gambling apps? Our sponsor, Parlay Play, has the best lines to increase your chances at winning it big. Not only does it have great lines, it's also an awesome app with a community feel.
Use code CLINIC ALLNBA for a deposit match up to $100 and a free $5 game on the house. They also have a feature called Slide the Line where users can raise or lower a line of their choosing. Pause the pod, get on your phone, download the app now.
Download the app indeed. We're going to talk about James Harden now. The LA Clippers have been widely considered the most likely to land James Harden if Philadelphia 76ers were to trade the star guard. And, well, Woj dropped this today. He said Daryl Morey's asking price is exorbitant. Teams are not engaging the Sixers with the kind of ask that Daryl Morey is asking for James Harden, and that's where Daryl Morey always starts in trade talks, really high. Then over time, perhaps you work him back down. Right now, the Harden talks, like Damian Lillard, are going to linger into the summer. And James Harden posted something today. He's got a picture partying with Michael Rubin. So boys, do you guys... First of all, what do you think about Woj's tweet here? And also, do you guys think this trade will happen?
It's not a tumor.
Sammy, we're
Go
gonna.
ahead, Sammy. Yes.
Sammy, I think we should save your in-depth analysis for last because I think it's going to be splendid. When I say splendid, I mean that very loosely. So, JJ, please enlighten us with your thoughts here, and I'll follow up.
Well, this just reminds me with this whole debacle with the Nets, John, where he came into camp out of shape when he was unhappy. This happened again a few years back with the Rockets when he wanted to be traded, came into camp out of shape, and today, June referenced this already. A tweet by Michael Rubin had James Harden in it, and everyone's commenting about his figure. And I'm not one to body shame since I have a dad bod, proud dad bod rep right here. But I'll just say this for an NBA athlete, John. I'm not sure if he looks like he's a NBA game shape right now. What do you think, dude?
I would like to. I'm sorry. I would like to see a different angle. He definitely looks like he's not in game shape though, and it look based on this picture of him with Michael Rubin. It certainly looks like he's had a few alcoholic beverages, maybe more than that, and. Yes, I mean,
think that's a good assumption. I think any picture where you're like flipping the bird in it,
and yelling,
you're probably under some sort of influence. But yeah, go ahead, John.
Sure. I mean, like anytime. And look, these NBA players, they need to have their own lives, and I get it. They want to go out, they want to party, they want to let loose. Understandable, right? Like, but this is from an optics standpoint. This is certainly something that you do not want to see. You want to see pictures. You want to have the perception of you working hard in the off season, even though the season's still 3 months away. Now back to the topic of James Harden being a Clipper. Personally, I absolutely hope this happens, and you probably know why, because of my complete disdain for the Los Angeles Clippers. Sammy's a great friend of mine. I love him, but I absolutely hate the Los Angeles Clippers. And to me, this would be a great move for them to fail miserably, because I think that trio would be terrible. I'm just gonna say it out here, and that's not me being biased. I just think it's like, I don't get it, man. Like, look at the teams and look at the success for the past 5 years. Even Phoenix, you know, it's about the depth now. It's not about the top heavy 3-star. Those days I think are gone. I think they're gone. And look, Ballmer is just trying to pull a Phoenix Suns move right here and get James Harden. I mean, like, realistically, Sammy or Ro or JJ, what is it going to take to trade for James Harden? You're going to have to gut a lot of your team, right?
So I don't think they're willing to do that, and that's why I don't know if this actually happens. Only because we were talking about a little bit about this when this first came out. The Clippers, since Lawrence Frank became president of the team, which I want to say goes back to around a year or two before they traded Blake. So we're going back a while. Every time they've made a big trade or a big signing, it's never been a long-standing thing where it took weeks to happen and it was out there. It was always very by surprise. Like, if you guys remember when Blake Griffin got traded, no one saw it coming. Actually, everyone thought DeAndre Jordan was going to get dealt, and out of the blue, Blake got dealt right before the deadline. When they signed Kawhi and Paul George, that happened at like 2 in the morning that the news broke. This kind of stuff doesn't really happen with them. That's why I don't think it'll happen, unless Morey ends up giving in and going with a price of something like Norman Powell, maybe at most Terrence Mann and a first, something like that. I can't imagine them gutting the team for Mr. Harden here. I sincerely hope they don't. There's going to be a world that exists where if they make this deal, the most likable Clipper on the team next year might end up being Russell Westbrook, which is hilarious other than the fact that I'm a fan of the team.
Wow.
So
I'm gonna say that
Yeah.
I think this trade might happen, and the reason
Yes.
why I think this trade is going to happen
Manifest it, please.
is because even though Daryl Morey is a master negotiator, okay, he always gets what he wants, but James Harden is playing chess. He sees this Woj tweet, right, and he says, you know, Morey always starts really high. And Harden knows this. And what does he do? He gets on Instagram, like JJ said, bad lighting, bad angle, looking overweight, looking drunk. And he's also partying with Michael Rubin, who's associated with the 76ers. How else can this man lower the value other than doing this? You know what I mean? And then Daryl eventually, with enough of these posts, I feel like he's gonna just he might have enough. It's like, I gotta get whatever value I can for this guy, and that's why I think this trade might happen. Is that a little too much from me?
No, I love the conspiracy theory.
Yes.
Put on my conspiracy theory hat. I want this to manifest it, please. I think Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard would be the greatest foursome we've ever seen.
But we're gonna take this to our next topic here. Darvingham, he has a response to Michael Malone, and as we all know, that Michael Malone, like during the parade in Denver, was called the Lakers' daddy. And
Daddy.
Darvingham had this to say: "Oh, wow, you're gonna bring up Money Mike, man, the Lakers' daddy? That's what they call him now, the Lakers' daddy. God bless his soul. This S ain't over. God bless his soul."
Who is my daddy?
So I want to save John for last here, just because he's the Lakers stan here. What, from the other two, JJ and Sammy, what do you guys think about Darvinham's, I guess, kind of surprised clapback?
Who is my daddy?
I ain't mad at it. I think Mike Malone's gone way overboard with this whole thing. I know some of it's just because it's the Lakers, so anything about the Lakers gets broadcast all over the place, but he's been feeding into it. So I don't mind Darvingham clapping back at him, because it's been overkill, especially since you've won the championship. Why focus on the team that you beat in the conference finals after everything that occurred? So it's weird. I'm really disliking Mike Malone because I keep coming on this podcast and defending the freaking Lakers. I'm not a fan of this. I don't enjoy it. Like, enough.
You enjoy
Enough
it. Let's be honest, Sammy. You enjoy it.
I enjoy nothing. I will
JJ,
leave
what
it
do you
at that.
For me, okay, I always feel like when you do win, and when you win it all, you could say whatever you want to say, right? But there's also part of me that says you gotta keep that same energy from the beginning to the end. And Coach Malone, you didn't have that energy before you won the championship. It's like what Lucas said to D Book. You only talk when you're up, which I kind of agree with. But hey, I love rivalries. I want more bloodshed. I'm not talking literally, audience, so calm your ass down, all right? I just want good old 90s basketball back into action. And I can't wait when the Lakers and the Nuggets face each other, which I'm predicting
me too.
for Christmas.
Ooh, I like it.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Who is my daddy?
Kindergarten Cop. Relax, everybody. Especially you young listeners. We don't need to get canceled. Anyway, I don't know what to say to this. I mean, I'm pretty speechless. I share the same sentiment. I think one of the things that always comes to mind is Mike Malone is so butthurt that the Lakers get all of this coverage. Even when they were winning, even when up to winning the title, the Lakers were the talk of the town. They were the headline. And guess what, Mike Malone? I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with the fact that you beat the Lakers. That it doesn't matter. It's the market. It's Los Angeles. It's Hollywood. Whether it's Denver Nuggets or some other team, unless you're the New York Knicks, the Boston Celtics, a rival team with the same type of market, you're not going to get the same coverage. Get over it. And he's taking it out on LeBron James. He's taking it out on the Los Angeles Lakers. But LeBron James is a genius, by the way. That whole I'm retiring bit after the Denver Nuggets on the NBA Finals, completely BS, but 100% intentional. LeBron's a genius. He knew that it was going to generate all of the attention and take away all of the attention away from the Denver Nuggets. And it worked like a charm. Mike Malone is still sleeping, dreaming about the Lakers, living rent-free. Lakers are living rent-free in Mike Malone's head.
And you know, LeBron James and the LA Lakers, they're probably thinking everything that's going on with like Michael Malone and this nickname of the Lakers daddy. They're probably just thinking like, all right, let Denver cook. You know, let them talk. Let them talk their talk because we need bulletin board stuff. And like JJ said, it's going to be a great rivalry. We'll see what the upcoming season has to or is going to have for these two teams when they face off. But now I want to talk about there's a little interaction with Kevin Durant and Kendrick Perkins. And Kevin Durant recently found himself in the headlines as he went back and forth with NBA fans on Twitter regarding Carmelo Anthony. Debate began when the NBA veteran Will Barton said on the Ball Don't Stop podcast that there aren't 15 players better than Anthony when using the eye test. A fan stated that
turtles.
bucket getters are the most respected type of players. Durant responded, as he pointed out, the object of the game is to score points in order to win games, something Carmelo Anthony has always done at an elite level. Twitter responded that Carmelo has never won any rings. Burks then said this on First Take. He said, KD got cooked by a Twitter dude. Listen, we all know that defense wins championships, and look, we can go back into history. Majority of the teams that won NBA championships were top 5 defensively in the postseason. They upped their defensive tactics on both ends of the floor, and they have defensive prowlers on the floor. So first of all, do you guys agree with Kendrick Perkins here? Or do you guys agree with Kevin Durant?
That's ignorant.
That's like choosing between getting a root canal and getting a finger cut off. I don't know.
Pulling the wisdom teeth. Pulling the wisdom
Yeah.
teeth.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
go
like
with
pulling the
dental
wisdom
analogy.
teeth or a root canal.
I think we can all pretty much say that we like defense, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna say that it needs to have both sides of the ball. Is that correct? Or
Yeah,
what
I
do you
mean,
think, Jay?
Yeah.
Defense wins games. I think the irony of this whole debate is KD only has 2 rings. Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
No. But
Okay, and he won those 2 rings with the Warriors. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right?
Okay.
It's a rhetorical question, right,
Yes.
JJ?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when they did win the championship, did the Warriors not have the top 2 or even the best defense in the league?
Yeah, correct.
So
They
I'm
did.
just saying, KD, you're saying the offense wins championships when the 2 rings that we've won were on arguably the best defensive teams, or the best defensive team that year.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like I don't know what Kevin Durant was thinking here, and I'm glad that Kendrick Perkins did call him out. But for our like clinic questions of the night, I want to talk about favorite defenses and favorite offenses from the 2000s. And I'm going to start it off with favorite defense. And I'm going to go with Sammy here. What do you think?
Ooh, I want to hear this.
So the obvious choice is probably the Pistons defense from 03-04, but I'm actually going to throw one out there that people don't remember because of how that team fell apart. The 04-05 Pacers defense. The one that fell apart because of the Malice in the Palace. That defense was legit, and it could stop anybody until they literally stopped the crowd. And that's the only reason that team probably didn't win a championship that year, or at least come close, because that team was stacked and ready to go. So I'm going to throw that defense out there as kind of a surprise pick, although they obviously didn't get as far as they could have because of what happened.
Did that team have Roy Hibbert, the legend?
No, that was before he started, I believe, his legendary career, if I remember right.
Okay.
And then next, I'm going to go with John.
Well, I know I'm gonna get grilled for this and being called a homer, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I don't care what y'all think, especially Sammy.
The
gonna
08
say
Boston
that
Celtics.
How dare you, JJ? The 2009 Los Angeles Lakers. Actually, I'm sorry. 2009, 2010 Los Angeles Lakers. That defense was with Andrew Bynum, with Kobe at the prime of his career. You had guys that were just shutting down. I mean, that team was legitimate defensively. I'm pretty sure they were top. If they weren't the best in the league, they were up there. And I know Boston was up there too, but that team was shut down. They had like the length, they had the size, they had the tenacity, and so I'm gonna go with that.
Dang. Very good picks, gentlemen. I'm actually, the homer pick would be the 16-17 Warriors. Just because you had Draymond, you had Livingston, KD, arguably the best two-way player in Thompson. But I don't want to be a homer for today's pod, so I'm going to actually pick the 08 Celtics because
John is
That's
upset
when-
right now.
Thibs,
You don't need to say why.
come on, Thibs totally
You got it.
took over the game and they beat, you gotta give respect. They beat Kobe's Lakers. And that was with KG. You have John's favorite player in Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rondo, and damn, did I really just pick a team with Kendrick Perkins on it?
You did.
Now I have
You did.
buyer's remorse, but I can't go
Oh.
back now. So I'm gonna go with 08 Boston Celtics, Jin.
I mean, low-hanging fruit here. 04 Pistons,
Yeah.
right?
There you
Sheed,
go.
Ben Wallace.
Yeah.
They ended up beating, that super team of, John's, the Lakers with Kobe,
Yeah,
Malone,
yeah.
Jack, all that stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it to the next one. your favorite offense from the 2000s. I'm gonna go reverse order here, JJ.
Gee, I wonder
Best-
what he's going to pick.
I have to, right?
You have to. Go
I
for
have
it.
to. I gotta go 16-17 Warriors.
Yep.
Katie, Steph, Clay. What else can I say? Special shout out though. I want to say an underrated team that I always thought if they just had some defensive pieces could go far. And if Robert Ory didn't check Steve Nash's ass through the boards, the Phoenix Suns with Nash, the Matrix, Marion, they had Amari. Who else am I missing on that team? I know I'm missing someone. Sorry, I'm going off dome. But that Suns team with Nash and Amari and Marion, I have to put up there.
Oh
John,
man,
what you think,
okay,
man?
you know what?
You're gonna
I
go with
was
the
a-
21
I was a
Brooklyn
homer.
Nets.
I was a homer. I was a homer the first round. I'm gonna be a homer in the second round again. I don't care. Like I said, 2000 and 2001 Los Angeles Lakers, 15-1 in the playoffs. Shaq, Kobe, two of the greatest to ever touch a basketball. That absolutely dominant on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, like when you're talking about Shaq and Kobe, you're talking about two of the greatest players on the same team, right? You look at history. Look how many teams have two of the greatest to ever arguably top 10, right? You know, Jordan, Pippen's not top 10. Steph, Clay is not top 10. Like, how often does that happen? Doesn't happen. So I'm gonna go with the 2000-2001 Lakers.
If we're excluding homer picks, what would be your second pick?
The 2002-2003 Los Angeles Lakers. Come on, okay. Okay. That's a great question. I should definitely pick one outside of my homerism. Man, that is a tough one. Like, I feel like it's blasphemy to pick like a 2005. Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna have to go with the Miami Heat. 2013. I want to say 2013. Is that the right year? Somebody fact check me.
Was that what, the second title year?
I think so.
Yeah.
Second title year.
13.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 12-13. That team, I mean, like LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and then the pieces they had around them. I think Mike Miller was on that team, right? Mike Miller. Yeah.
Ray
and
Allen?
Mario Chalmers was playing well.
Yeah,
Ray Allen was on that team.
of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm gonna go with that. 2013 Miami Heat.
All right. Well, I don't think the numbers will necessarily reflect this, but going the following year, that Spurs team that won their last title in 2013-14, I just remember the finals of that year where their offense looked literally like poetry in motion. If you guys remember, the ball barely touched the ground. They were moving it, swinging it all over the court. Like, that was the definition of beautiful basketball to me, and it was really team basketball. So I'm going to throw one out there for them. I doubt their offensive rating from the regular season is as high as probably even the top 20. But just for pure enjoyment of watching offensive basketball, I loved watching that team in that playoff run.
I mean, for me, it's gonna be the 04 Mavs with Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, the chemistry between Nash and Nowitzki was just amazing, and seeing like that sort of, this is like Jokic before Jokic, right? And seeing it for the first time, someone at his size with that sort of like touch was like incredible, and they had a great team around him as well. But boys, that's actually all we have for tonight's pod. I want to thank you three for being on. JJ, thanks for being on, man.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you all.
John, thanks for being on, man.
Hey, thank you all. Stay cool out there.
I'm Detective John.
Sammy, thanks for being on, man.
Always good to be here, man. Thank you.
Sammy takes it all the way.
And shout out to our video producer, RJ. Check out our YouTube channel. Remember to rate, subscribe, and review. Like us on our Facebook group page, the Clinic All NBA Podcast, and follow us on Twitter at Clinic All NBA. I'm Rosa Panza. This is the Clinic All NBA Podcast. Come find us wherever you get your podcasts.